if you guys are ever wondering which weapon to use in Escape from Tarkov, which one's the most bang for your buck, and which one's the most regularly used, I'm going to break down 2 frequently used weapons in Escape from Tarkov. If you guys haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do so down below so you can see more content like this, because I'm going to be doing a few more videos just like this. But let's get right into it. Today we're going to be looking at 2 different weapons, the AK-74 and the M4A1. Now, I built these weapons to be roughly the same ergonomic and the same vertical recoil. I use the same foregrip, same laser, and same sight just to kind of keep it even. Obviously, certain parts don't go on the AK as well as certain parts don't go on the M4, vice versa. So I kind of had to do a little bit of math and see what was comparable just to kind of keep it even. Now, what we're going to be looking at is the fire rate. Obviously, we're going to be looking at the ammunition and not specifically ammo. I'm going to be talking about more about like what's the best bang for your buck. So when do you pay more for a higher pen, and which one costs more and which one's more readily available. Also the feel. A lot of people prefer one over the other because it's their play style. So we're really going to be going over feel and what to expect from these weapons, and also desirability. If you go out with either of these, which one is the person that kills you? Which one is he going to take? Is he going to take the AK-74 and this specific build, or just any build, or is he going to take the M4 no matter what kind of build it is? It could be a crappy build, but are you going to take that M4 because it's a little bit more desirable? I believe so, but we're going to be looking at that as well and comparing the two. Now, the reason why I chose these builds is because these builds don't use the flea market. I kind of kept it just so it's just traders. So we're going to look at the cost right now. For this specific build for the AK-74, I have 61 vertical recoil and 59 ergonomics. Now, the cost of it, including the weapon, from only traders is going to be a little over 130,000 rubles. That's not too bad. I'm not calling it a budget build. It is a build probably mid-tier. For the M4, the ergonomics is 60 and the vertical recoil is 62. Like I said, I try to get it as close as possible by only using traders. We're going to check this out. It is 200 and almost 260 rubles. Way more costly. Now, that's not to say it's a worse weapon. It's probably more superior. And from my knowledge of the game, you can build an M4 that's completely meta and shreds and it's a laser. But if we're just looking to compare the 2 weapons, the M4 is not going to do it for me as far as cost, because 1, it's more desirable. So even if you build this weapon and it's not the most meta gun, if you do die, you're going to lose almost 300,000 rubles because it's a more desirable weapon. People are going to take it. The AK-74, you're only losing about 135 rubles. It's not as bad, not as big as a hit as an M4. So now we're going to be looking at ammunition type, and I just chose the top 3 tier for each weapon, BT, BS, and Ingolnik or PPBS for the AK-74, and 56A1, 55A1, and the M995 for the M4. I'm also not using the new ammunition that they put out because it's not as available, and it's ridiculously expensive, and I don't even know anyone that runs that that ammunition. But we're going to be looking at these 3 ammunition types, or these 6 ammunition types on the flea market, based off cost and availability. So if we look up BT, it's about 500 to 600 rubles a round, and it's very available. The pen value, I believe, is around 40. That's pretty good. It has good damage. Now let's look at BS. It's about 900 to 1,000 rubles a round. Again, very readily available. And we're going to look at the PPBS. About 1,000 a round. Very readily available. Now, let's look at the M4 ammunition types. So the 5.6A1, not as good as pen for the other ones, obviously, but very regularly available. But already we can see a difference. The 5.5 or 5.6A1 is 1,000 rubles a round, and it's just as good. And I have the pen types, the different penetrations up here, but It is just as good, or maybe slightly better or slightly worse than the BT, and BT is more available and cheaper. Now let's look at the 5.5A1. You can already guess. It's way more expensive, right? Yeah, the availability is there, but $2,000 a round. That's insane. And then the M995 is probably around the same, almost $2,000 a round for a way high pen. I gotta give the win to the AK-74. It just has more availability with ammunition type and comparable ammunition compared to the M4. Now we're gonna be talking about the feel of the weapon, and we're not gonna be comparing stats on which has better recoil and which has better ergonomics, because I made them the same. We're really just gonna be looking at the feel of the weapon, on the predictability of where the next round is gonna go each time. So let's take a look at the AK-74. We're just gonna do a few single fire shots at this wall here, about 30 meters out. And now some full auto. I'm not gonna pull down on it. Okay, now let's check out the M4. A few single shots. And full auto. Now, if you guys notice a difference with the recoil pattern, it's slightly, well, if you look at the wall, it's the same. The bullets wound up to be in the same general area. The recoil is the same, the ergonomics are the same, but if you notice one thing, is that the M4 had a much quicker jump up to the top than the AK-74 did, and that's because of the fire rate. The fire rate on the M4 is way faster at 800 RPM than the fire rate on the AK-74 650 RPM. Personally, I prefer the AK-74 over the M4 is because the predictability of each round. When I'm on full auto, I know where each round is going because it's shooting a lot slower. Obviously, you're not getting more rounds down to your target, but you're able to control the weapon a little bit more because you can predict, obviously, the timing of the round. The M4 just spits them out, and before you know it, you have an empty mag. This also ties into the ammunition as far as cost. If you are spitting bullets down range, you better be hitting your target and killing it. If not, you're just spitting out money.
Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here! What I call them? Fun coupons! See that?
Money is going out the window for your missed shots. So you better be hitting your shots. And you better have a lot of rubles because it's very costly to be running an M4, especially if you want to run 60 round mags. And that's the difference between the two as far as feel. I hope that helped you guys out. Do some tests on your own, use these two different weapon builds, and let's talk about the very last thing. I'm actually going to throw these guys on the ground. If you are running around full backpack and all, and you had room for one weapon, just by looking at these, which one would you pick up? I 100% of the time would pick up the M4, maybe to use, but mainly to sell. These are more expensive to, well, you can sell these for way more than you can sell an AK-74. Yes, you can take the attachments off, and I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about desirability. If you really want to get your weapon back and you insured it and you're playing by yourself, you're not playing with friends, and hope to God that the guy has a full bag and he can only take one of these weapons, he's probably going to take the M4 over the AK-74 every time. Yeah, you might lose your attachments, but you're getting your gun back. More oftentimes than not, I've been getting my AK-74s back over my M4s, and that's why I truly don't like to run the M4 anymore, because it's just too costly to build. The ammunition is too costly, and it's just going to get stolen more oftentimes than not. So that's why I'm giving this build off, or I would say this weapon off. I don't even know what to call this weapon series that I'm starting, but I'm going to give this win to the AK-74. If you're truly playing this game, you have to understand that just because the gun could be built out right, like the M4s could be built out to like a 29 recoil, doesn't make it a superior weapon. I hope this video helped you out, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, or if you want me to compare two weapons that are comparable, post a picture down in the comments below, give the video a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.